For today. Today we're going over congruent chords and arcs. So as a little refresher, this and this, these are our chords. They are a line segment from one side of the circle to another, but not a diameter. An arc is a portion of the circumference that is created with two endpoints. All right. So two chords are congruent if and only if their corresponding arcs are congruent. Now what that means is these two arcs that I've highlighted, AB, is equal to CD. And the measure of arc AB is equal to the measure of arc CD. Then, second statement, they are equidistant from the center. So AB again is equal to CD, and EF, which is this part right here, EF is also equal to EG. So they are the same distance from the center, which this piece of segment tells us that how far the chords are from the center. All right, and lastly, if a diameter or radius is perpendicular to a chord, then it bisects the chord and its arc. So if a diameter or radius is perpendicular, that means it creates a 90-degree angle. With the chord. That means that it bisects the chord and its arc. So that means the chord and its arc are split into two equal parts. So here we can say EH, if EH is perpendicular to AB, then AF, which is this little part right here, is equal to FB, and the measure of their arcs are also equal. I guess the two halves of the arc are equal. All right, let's take a look at example 1. It sounds like a lot of stuff, but it's really not that bad. Find the indicated value. So they tell us that this arc is 115, and then they also tell us that this other arc is 7x plus 24. Because these two chords are congruent, the arcs are also congruent. So we're going to say 115 equals 7x plus 24. And when we solve, we get 13. Okay, moving on. Number 3. It tells us that the measure of this chord and the measure of this chord, it just tells us the measures of those chords. And then it says that the arcs created by those chords' endpoints are the same. So because those arcs are the same, the chords that create them are also the same. So we're going to set them equal to each other. And we get x equals 7. Now it's asking us to find xy. xy is the length of this chord, so we're going to plug in that number 7 to the length of the chord. 4 times 7 plus 1, that gives us a length of xy as 29. All right, moving on to number 5. It says find x. It tells us these two chords are the same measurement with these little tick marks here. It tells me that this portion of the arc is 76 degrees, and it's giving us an expression for this portion. So the way we can think about this is that this green arc and this other green arc, zy and xy, these are the same length because their chords are the same length. So we could say 360 minus 76 equals 284. Now that's the entire green portion. So if we take 284 and split it in two, we get each individual arc, green arc, the left one xy and the other zy. So we divide it by 2, we get 142. We're looking for x. Oh, now we can say that's the angle measurement of this arc here. So we set that equal to the expression to solve for x. And we get x equals 27. Okay, let's take a look at the back. Number 8. On number 8 here, it says find MP. Now MP is this arc right here. We're looking for the degree measure of that arc. It gives us two other arcs, but they give us expressions for these arcs here. Now, because this little portion here is, we're given those tick markings there, showing that these chords are the exact same distance from the center point. That means these chords are also the same, which means these arcs are the same. So we can set them equal to each other. And we get x equals 19. Now it's asking for the measure of MP, which is this one over here, the green one. How are we going to solve that? Let's plug in 19 into one of these arcs that they give us. To get that arc measurement, we know that these are the same, and we could subtract those from 360. So the measure of arc MP is 104. Okay. I would suggest pausing the video and trying number 9 and 10, 11, and 12 on your own. 9, 10, 11, and 12 on your own here. So go ahead and pause the video and try those. And if you get stuck, you can play the video. All right. Hopefully you are unpausing the video so that you can check your answers on 9, 10, 11, and 12. For number 9, it says in circle Z if RS is 18. That's this arc right here. And the measure of TY, this one, is 42. Find each measure. Okay, well, because these two chords are the same distance from the center, I know that they are congruent. So if RS is 18, that means TV has to be half of that. Oh, sorry, I put 2 because it's half, but 9. Half of 18 is 9. And then it says it's asking for TU. TU is this whole chord. Hey, they're the same. So if the other one's 18, this one's 18 too. Now it's asking for WS, which is this little chunk right here. And again, that's half of 18, so it's 9. The measure of YU, these arcs are the same, so it's going to be 42 degrees. And the measure of RS, the entire arc, is 42 times 2, 84 degrees. All right, let's look at number 10. Hopefully you already did number 10. In circle I, if BG is 17 and measure of CHA arc, CHA is 256, find each measure. So BC is the first one we're looking for, which is the measurement. How do I know this is the measurement and not the arc? Because it doesn't have a curve on top. Typically, if we're looking for a measurement of like a length of a straight line, there will be a line on top or maybe not one. But if you're writing your answer and you're going to say BC equals whatever, you need to write that line on top to show that it's a segment. Sometimes it's just hard for computers to put that little line there. Okay, moving on. Oops. Okay, so we're talking about the whole segment right here, BC. We know BG is half of that, so 17 times 2 is going to get us 34. Now FB, which is this chunk right here, is going to be the same as BG, 17. Measure of arc AB, which is this little curve right here. We know it's going to be the same as this one, BC. We know the rest of the circle is 256, so if we say 360 minus 256, we get 104. But that's both arcs together. So dividing by 2, we get 52 degrees for AB and BC. Last one is EC, which is an arc. EC is half of that. So 52 over 2 is going to give us 26 degrees. All right, number 11. If QM, this distance right here, is 6 minus 11, and MR is 2x plus 9, those are the same. Let's set them equal. And we're looking for MN, so this whole chunk we're going to plug it back into. We end up getting x equals 5, and we're going to plug it into this chunk of that and then multiply by 2. 2 times 5 plus 9, that gets us 19, and multiplying that by 2 so we can get the whole thing, not just half of it, we get MN is 38. Number 12, it says if the measure of arc CI is 7x minus 15 and the measure of arc EF is 12x minus 8, find the measure of CI. We're going to have to plug it back into here when we're done. So CI is half of EF. So let's say 2 times CI is going to be equal to 12x minus 8. Just a quick side note. Maybe you thought to say 12x minus 8 divided by 2 equals 7x minus 15. That's fine. But for most people, multiplication is easier than division, especially when variables are involved. So it's going to be simpler for you to multiply by 2 than it is to divide everything, including a variable, by 2. The dividing will take a little bit longer, and we know mathematicians like to make things as easy as possible. All right, we distribute the 2, move the 30 over, move the 12x over, and we get x equals 11. Now, we need to plug it back into CI, so 7 times 11 minus 15 is going to get us a measure of arc CI of 62 degrees. Now, hopefully you got at least most of the questions or the parts on 9 through 12 correct. We do have 4 more little problems to do together. You're going to love these. Number 13, use the circle below for questions 13 and 14. For question 13, it says find VW. And VW is this length right here. Now, what I see here is we have a right triangle. With a hypotenuse of 13 and a leg of 5. We need to find the base of that triangle and then multiply it by 2 to get the entire chord. So we're going to say 5 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. And when we solve Pythagorean theorem, we get x equals 12. Because that's only half of the chord, we need to multiply by 2 to get the full chord length of 24. Let's take a look at number 14. Now number 14 is saying find arc YW. YW is right here. Now, how are we going to go about to find that angle measurement? Let's think back to trigonometry. We know we can find the measure of that curve by finding the measurement of that angle, x. I'll draw my picture again. This is your right angle, 13, 5, 12. We're looking for this angle here. So we can set up a trig function. I'm going to use tangent with the opposite and adjacent here. We'll say tan of x equals our ratio, 12 over 5. And then we're going to use the inverse trig to find the measure of that angle, x. And when we type this into the calculator, we get the measure of YW, arc, is 67.38. Now, how did I know to use that angle measurement? We recall from yesterday, or I guess a few days ago, that your angle of the, the angle that is created by the central angle. The central angle is equal to the measure of the arc. So whatever that angle measurement is, that arc is the same. So we have a right triangle right here. We can find the measure of that angle using trig and transfer over that angle measurement to the arc because they are the same, because it is a central angle. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Use the circle below for 15 and 16. It says HK, which is right here, is 30. So that tells me that this side of the triangle is 15. And PM is 8. So that means this piece is also 8. I think we're going to have to use some trig again here in a minute, or maybe Pythag. Looking at our triangle, we have 8, we have 15, and we need, it says find pH. pH is this middle part right here, so we need to find x. That is our hypotenuse. So we're going to say x squared equals 15 squared plus 8 squared. And we get x equals 17. So that means the length of pH is 17. Now we're looking for the measure of GJ. GJ, this arc right here. I know that these two parts of the arc are the same arc measurement, and we can use this central angle right here to help us find that. So again, using trigonometry, we have 8, 15, and we're looking for the measure of this angle right here. So that is going to be the adjacent side. The opposite side, we can use tan of x equals opposite over adjacent. And we need the inverse. Tan inverse of 15 over 8 equals x. And when we put that into a calculator, we get 61.92 degrees for arc HJ, only half of it. We want the whole thing, so we're going to multiply by 2 to get a measure of GJ to be 123.86 degrees. Oops. All right, concludes our lesson for today. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.